RJ's probably the best one.
Come on up.
Let me get across here.
Well, thank you. We've got a full house this afternoon. Thursday, we're going to have an opportunity to make a statement here in the Senate, a statement as to whether or not Congress or unelected bureaucrats at the EPA should set climate policy for this country. And those of us standing up here today, I think, feel very, very strongly for a multitude of different reasons as to why it should be the Congress and not those at EPA. First of all, there are many economic considerations, I think, that we need to consider as we look at the prospect of EPA regulation and how that would impact an economy that is clearly still struggling. It's expected to cost billions of dollars per year just to apply for the permits, have EPA process them, and that's even before those that would be regulated have been told by the EPA what the best available technologies are for them. So the level of uncertainty that is then injected into an economy that is looking desperately for some certainty is further troubled. We have been stymied at every request from the EPA as to the economic analysis of them moving forward with their regulations. The agency has refused to provide the cost estimates for the endangerment finding, the tailpipe rule, the tailoring rule. They've ignored requests from many of us here in the Senate. And I have to believe that it's either because the true estimate of the economic damage would be politically unacceptable, and they recognize that, or possibly that they have just failed to do the due diligence. But I think, based on what we know, it's because they recognize, they know that the economic impacts are beyond the pale here. The overreach that we see by the EPA is truly unprecedented in terms of overreach into the legislative branch by the executive. The EPA intends to take control of climate policy, take it away from the Congress, and I think those that are looking at this from the perspective of separate but equal branches of government look at this and say that this is absolutely unacceptable, that we as elected members would forfeit the responsibility to legislate and leave our constituents with no say in this highly bureaucratic process that would impose not only undue regulatory burden on them, but an economic impact that, again, this country simply cannot take. We've got good, strong support for the measure. We've got 41 sponsors here in the Senate. Over in the House, there's nearly 140 members that have signed on to companion measures. There have been a lot of statements of late about the intent of this legislation. Somehow or other that this is now all tied to big oil in view of what we're seeing with the spill in the Gulf. But ultimately, this resolution is about protecting the economy and preventing agency overreach. It's as simple as that. And with that, I'm going to turn to my colleagues. We will first hear from Senator Alexander from Tennessee.